Hi guys, how are you doing? Christelle here, Tricot et Stitch. I hope you're cozy and you have your favorite hot beverage. I have things to show you this week, but above all I hope everyone is doing well. In France we're in the 4th week of the lockdown, and there is more and more talk of how we are going out of the lockdown, but there's nothing acted or decided yet. So how are you guys holding up? Are you doing okay? Well, it's less sunny today, but there is still some sun. The sun is here, just behind the clouds. So I'm going to put on my shades because I can see on my phone that I'm like this. So I think it will be more comfortable like this, but they're not clean. Okay. So yeah, I thought I'd tell you at the beginning that you can find me on Instagram as tricot_et_stitch, that I have a website, www.tricotestitch.com, and everything is in the show notes. So all the links to the newsletter, to everything I'm talking about in the podcast, everything is in the show notes. So I just wanted to share with you another thing we did this week. So last week, if you've watched the podcast last week, we set up with my daughter a little book club, and it's been really a blast. The book proves to be challenging for 12-year-olds. It's At the Mountain of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft. But the girls are managing very well, and all of them read the first chapters as we, indicated in the reading rhythm, recommended reading rhythm. And we had a lovely chat on Wednesday. My friend Christine also read the first chapters, and it's really not her kind of usual reading. She's not into science fiction or things like that. So she played along very well, and she had a lot of things to share, and it was a great experience. And above all, I was very happy to listen to the chapters with my daughter. So it's been fun. It's been really fun. I have nothing to clean my shades with. So yeah, weekly meetups on Zoom. I baked shortbreads for this session, and I still have some because I'm the only one in the house that love shortbread. So shortbread biscuits. So I still have some. That's great. And yeah, it's cool. It gives us something to do, something to put on our daily to-do list, and it's quite fun. Another thing that was weighing a bit on my mind is that we are not getting outside of the house, of our tiny garden, or the house. I've not been, on the street for like 4 weeks. My husband is doing grocery shopping once a week, and that's it. And I was working from home before all that, but I still had some, activities. I went to pick up the kids from school. I walked a bit. I did some things. Now it's been 4 uninterrupted weeks of nothing. No activity, no physical activity whatsoever. And I'm not much into sports, but even for me, it's beginning to weigh on me a bit. And I'm starting to weigh more myself. So I put together a little playlist of, just dance moves to have some cool physical activity with a funky beat and you know, things to motivate oneself to move and do something. So I've not converted the kids or my husband yet to the idea, but I do not despair. I hope they join me. I'm doing that early in the morning. Well, if I'm completely honest, I did that once and I really want to do more. So I'm a bit struggling to fit that into my lockdown schedule. But it's on my to-do list and you can find the playlist on my YouTube channel. I think Just Dance. It's titled Just Dance, but I will put the link in the show notes if you want. Another thing to do, if you do not know how to have a bit of fun physical activity. What else? I think that's it for the lockdown. Emotionally, it's been a bit better than week 3. I am not entertaining any, well, I am getting used to the idea that maybe shows in the second semester are going to be cancelled or postponed. I do not nurse any hope with regards to the shows in June. I think they're going to be cancelled. And that's a pity, but I mean, it's the logical thing to. I mean, if I'm mistaken, that's great news because I really hope they will take place, but really, I don't think they will. And there's a big question mark on the shows for the second semester because I don't know if you've seen, but Janfest Stockholm, which was to be held in the fall, they chose to cancel. That was a hard blow to take. I was not a vendor for this particular yarn show, but friends of mine were, and it's really hard. And maybe yarn shows will really resume once the global population has acquired, like, you know, the 70%, once 70% of the population has gone through this virus, or if there is a vaccine coming up earlier, but otherwise it seems very complicated. But I made my peace with that. It's not, you know, pulling me down anymore. It was. It was, but I mean, you have to adapt, you have to make do with what you have, and I am really motivated to keep as much as I can my good mood, and I really try to stay a bit mainly for the kids, because I do not want them to, you know, be too fearful of the future and things like that. I want to show them that we are adjusting and we are able to adapt, and I mean, we'll see the end of it eventually. Yeah, that's what I'm telling me. Maybe it will not be in 2020, maybe it will be next year, but once we're through, we're done. So whew, that was deep. That was really deep. Well, don't hesitate to reach out in the comments if you want to have a chat or if you have a hard time. I am not a counselor of any kind, but I can listen, okay? And as you can imagine, I have my own ways of coping, which involve knitting and dyeing, and I will share that with you. So, projects, okay? So, as a consequence of all this, I've been really, I will not talk about, you know, professional knitting right now, because the direct consequence of what I've just told you is that I had that urge to work on stress relieving projects, things just for fun, just for pleasure, just for, I mean, who cares if I have a ton of whips at the end of the lockdown? I just cast on things. And the latest cast on dates back to yesterday, and I'm really happy about it. I want to show it to you. And usually, I'm not a sweater, I do not knit sweaters, but this time I cast on for a sweater. So what I did is I will put, I think here, because there's more space, so I'm going to stay here. What I did is I followed the initiative of Julie Knits in Paris, who I love very much, very deeply. I really like her funny and resourceful self, and she's always doing some silly videos to, you know, cheer us up, and she's mega talented, and I love her. So Julie had that great idea to, you know, cast on a whatever sweater with whatever you have at hand, your leftovers, your minis, whatever you have. It's the whatever sweater. So I resisted the urge because I have things I want, you know, to be completed. But yesterday I plunged in my stash, and I just could not resist anymore. So I went in my stash to retrieve my leftovers, with which I have a deep and loving connection. I love my leftovers, and my minis. And I had over 3 kilos of leftovers and minis. Okay, so I selected just a little part of that you can see here, which is not so small because it's a big, I mean, it's a big box. I sorted everything by color because I'm really still a type A. I need to have things sorted out, even for whatever project. I want them into balls, from the lighter color to the darker color. And then I cast on. So that's my box of beautiful minis and leftovers. They are gorgeous. Okay, and even if the outer color is the one that makes the global harmony impression, there are a lot of different shades inside the cakes, and it's really so much fun to knit with. Okay, so I think I have enough minis and leftovers to knit a sweater for each and every member of my family. So I'm just, you know, trying out, because as I said, I am not a sweater knitter, a knitter of sweaters. I'm more a shawl and socks person, and calls and accessories. So knitting a sweater is not completely new, but quite new to me. And Julie gave really a very a recipe, really, not a pattern. You know, she said, who wants to join me and knit a whatever sweater, and just cast on 120 stitches, follow the Elizabeth Zimmerman's ratio. That's 1/3 for the front, 1/3 for the back, and 1/6 for each sleeve. So if you do not want to do the math, if you have 120 stitches, it's 40 stitches for the front, 40 stitches for the back, and 20 stitches each for each sleeve. And so, look at that! I love that so much. So that's my 120 stitches. I knitted 2, 6, 7, 8 rows of twisted ribbing. So that's knit one through the back loop, purl one. I'm using my minis and leftovers, and I'm marling away. So I'm holding two strands of yarn together, and I'm changing colors every fifth row. I'm changing color, and I'm changing one color at a time so that it blends into one into the other. And it's so lovely. And I'm just following what Julie indicated. She likes to not increase every other row, but every fourth rows, and use you know, it's a typical raglan increase, and she uses a 5 increase, so she increases 4 stitches at a time. It's basically, well, I'm using, I don't know what she uses, but I'm using the basic knit, yarn over knit, yarn over knit. Okay, and so that's 5 stitch out of 1 stitch. Okay, every 4th rows if you want to jump in. So changing colors every one at a time, every 5th row, and that's it. I think that she she made 20 rounds of increase because she wants that to be a bit oversized, and I will at least do the same, maybe a bit more, because I think I'm a bit bigger than her, and I want it to be completely oversized, like the jumper I'm wearing now, which is quite, you see, it's quite large. I mean, I'm this big and it's like this. It's almost like a boxy. So I think I'm going to copy that shape. It's really easy. I mean, it's straight. It's just very big. But I mean, I have 3 kilos of that, so I can manage a very big jumper. And I mean, it's really lovely. I cast that on yesterday, and I consider myself a slow knitter. Okay, so that's how much I'm enjoying this. So Julie, I don't know if you will be watching this, but thank you so much. Thank you so much for that idea. And I think that each of my kids want one. My husband has not said a word yet, but the kids, they are completely motivated and want one. So I don't know. I think I will. I mean, I don't know when it will be finished. I don't know if I will be as motivated as I am for the other ones as for this one. But yeah, I'm loving that. And it gives me a bunch of, you know, colorways ideas. I think I will do something like this. You see? The bright pink and black and white speckles. That's a good idea. I think I'm going to, you know, maybe find a bunch of ideas out of this. So that was the latest project on the needle, which was really not planned for and uncalled for, because I have things to work on, you know, Brioche Queen, you know, my other brioche shawl. I have some designs I need to be working on. But I mean, mental health is really crucial these days. So I strongly believe you have to go with the flow and do whatever makes you feel good. Because you cannot pour from an empty cup, and I was really feeling empty, and this is filling my cup, and I think this is filling my cup and feeding my creativity, and so that I can, you know, be creative more and again and deliver on other projects. But it's really about finding a balance, because when you're like me, I think at the beginning, one of the common mistakes when you are working on your own and for yourself is to be working very hard and not ever stopping and thinking that everything that's not connected and bringing value to your business is not worth your time. And that's a mistake I've made, and now, because of the lockdown, I'm like forced to take some time to, you know, do some other things like this to take care of my mental health. And I can feel the good it makes to a lot of areas. I mean, it makes me feel more serene, more happy. I feel like I have more resources. It's really important not to be working 100% all the time. You need the break, and your business needs the break, and that I know now. And it's still difficult for me to be disciplined and to stop myself and not be working for my business every waking minute of the day. But it's a lesson I'm learning. It's a lesson I'm learning. And I mean, I've read that before, I've read that testimony several times from different solopreneurs, and I refused to I think I refused to believe it, and I forgot an increase. Okay, so I'm putting that on the side, and I need to frog. So next project. Okay, next project I wanted to talk about is the Jimmy Cal, the Jimmy Cal knit along. Okay, Jimmy knit along. So here's my Jimmy. Last week I showed you my yarns, so I don't know if you were there last week. If you were, thank you and welcome back. If you were not, welcome and thank you for checking me out. So there's my colors. There's more because I raided my mini stash as well, and I wanted to add, well, I said, why not? I mean, I can put whatever I want. If I want it to be really neon, why not? Okay, so that's, and I went in there to take some yarn for the whatever sweater as well. So there's a bit less as there was yesterday, for example. So that's my colors. It's all tricot and stitch yarn, and that I didn't say, but for the whatever sweater, there is yarn from all over the world, and some are in my collection. Some have been in my collection for years. There are yarns from the USA, from Haverland, a lot of minis. I finally used them. Miss Babs, Madeline Tosh, Volmet Verve from the Netherlands, Dyed in the Wool Yarn Co. Well, lots and lots of dyers. Palaluna aussi from France. There are some tricot stitch, lots of minis from different dyers in France, like Tôt le Matin, Léna Mouret, Yarn by Simone. Well, lots of people there, but it's great because I'm really happy to, you know, each mini is really precious to me, so I'm knitting that also. I'm thinking about my friends, thinking about the dyers who really made me happy before I dyed yarn myself. So it's really a very, very good project to work on now and to reflect on our chance to be in that community. But those are my colors. And so here is my Jimmy. So I've been really, really a good pupil. I knitted until the 79th row, as I put in the self-imposed planning. I was very happy to reach that first stripe, and I used Min Paluzza, and that's extravaganza. Yes, extravaganza, I can tell you now, will be in the shop on May the 1st. Okay, it's an exclusivity with Sarah Les Petites Mains de Pomelo until April the 30th. But from May the 1st, it will be available in the shop on a different basis. So that is comfort knitting at its best also. It's basically stockinette stitch with a lovely color and just a bit of technique here, because the increase in the middle is not your regular increase, so that's pretty cool. There is a video tutorial to manage this. And oh, and yeah, and the Zoom cast and party was so much fun. I was exhausted afterwards because we had lovely Suzanne from Texas joining us, French. And it was my first time, you know, switching from French to English to back to French and English, and to, you know, try to host the Zoom meeting in both languages. And I was completely exhausted afterwards. I was like, I was just good to go to bed. It was incredible. I didn't think it would be so exhausting to you know, use both languages in the same short amount of time. So I'm going to repeat the experience today, because with the other participants we elected to have a Zoom, a weekly Zoom session. So it's each Saturday at 5 if you want to join us, and you can jump in the Jimmy Shawl car anytime you wish. There is no obligation to be finished by a specific deadline. There is this little planning I put together, but it's really just if you want to follow that rhythm. It's really not an obligation, and you can jump in anytime you want, and you can join us for the Zoom session. It was really good also because I was able to, you know, show in real time this like a live tutorial of the middle increase. And we had lots of fun. It was great, and I think Suzanne told us she had lots of fun as well. She was happy to hear us talking to French as well, and yes, it was a lovely time. So each Saturday at 5 p.m. Paris time, I will be hosting that bilingual Zoom session on the Jimmy Shawl call, and there is also the read-along Murder at the Vicarage. So I've started the first chapters, and it's really I like it very much. I find the characters of Griselda and Clement the Vicar very likable, and I was quite surprised actually, because I mean, Miss Marple is really not at the center stage during those 5 first chapters. I mean, if I didn't know there was a whole series of books with her as the main character, I would never have thought she was the heroine, because she's just, you know, at the periphery. She's not like, well, she's not depicted at all like, well, she's more like a nosy old lady, really. Nosy, always spying on her neighbors. Not full-mouthed, but not saying very nice things either. It's really interesting. It's like quite like the anti-hero, and I love that. So I was again very disciplined, and I stopped at chapter 5 to be able to, you know, keep up with the rest of the readers. There is not so many readers. Anyway, just in case a whole bunch of readers want to join and jump in, I'm disciplined and following my self-imposed planning. So I can't wait. to see, well, the murder took place. I'm not going to tell you who, but the murder took place, and there are some pretty obvious suspects, like completely obvious suspects. So I can't wait to know who did it, really, because obviously it's not the obvious ones. So I don't know. Okay. And so Zoom, each Saturday, 5 p.m. The meeting number is in the show notes. You're welcome to join. Next, Brioche Queen. What I did last week, I filmed the last brioche tutorial for both languages, so cool. But that's it. I didn't make a lot of progress because, as I told you, I knitted on other like comforting projects. I mean, this is completely comforting, but it's also linked to a professional self-imposed obligation, and I just wanted to cast on something new. I mean, I love that. I really do. I love that so much, actually. Oh yeah, I just wanted to cast on something new. So, and the thought of having a sweater knit only with minis and leftovers, like a rad one with neon colors, and you know, just doing that together with Julie Knits in Paris was irresistible. Okay, so that's how far I went. So not far. I've not made any progress on the other ones. So this is how far I am for my 5th one. But I love how it's knitting up. You see, I'm blending just a tad the colors in there, and yeah, I love it very much. It's cool. It's going to be a fade, guys, and because I think it's going to be a fade, I changed my colors. I don't think I will be using Min Paluzza or Minerai because fading that with pink is going to be really difficult. It's not going to be faded, it's going to be striped. It's going to be striping. So what I did is replaced those two colors with those two, and so we'll be transitioning something much more logical, like this, ups, and okay, and that is going to fade unless I change my mind once again. That's possible as well. Okay, so that is going to fade, I think. That's it. And for the English, my English version, I went just as far as I needed to go to do the video tutorial for the decrease, and then I removed the needles and it's on hold. So I will be working on that. Anyway, what I'm telling myself is that I wanted to put it into testing quite soon, but given it's a pattern written with a specific quality of yarn that nobody has at home, or very few people have at home in France because it's quite new. I'm talking about the slab base. And I'm not able to send anything yet, to ship any yarn. There is no harm in, you know, delaying the test and the pattern publishing date. It gives me more time to prepare my kits, dye more colorways, and give you guys more color options. I mean, I'm not happy to be in lockdown, but it's quite comfortable to be just it's the first time I'm off the hook since I started Tricot et Stitch. Well, not started, but made it my full-time job, and that was in March last year, 2019. And I feel like I'm, you know, relaxing a bit for the first time in over a year. So again, it's not a good situation, but there's some good things to, take out of it, and that's what I'm doing. I have a surprise for you. I thought that maybe you would like to join me for a little dyeing session. And so I dyed some yarn last week. It's here. I'm going to show you in a minute. But I thought you'd be happy to be with me for last week's dyeing session. So here it is. Hi guys! I wanted to show you a bit of my studio and how I work. I think I've already shown you my studio in a short video I posted on Instagram. So there's shelves there. I showed you already. I prepared a lot of things. I have a lot of colors. And I bought very big boxes of pigments. Those are my heaters. I have a new one. Today I wanted to show you what I'm going to prepare because I have a lot of pre-orders and I'm very happy about it. It's cool. People are asking me to dye some colors for very cool projects, and I'm very happy about it. So I still need to work a bit on the dyeing plan for today, but we're together today. So the plan is ready. Usually I dye with music on, so I will share my playlist. That's the slab base, undyed. It's a pleasure to dye that base. It takes dye very well. Usually I don't dye with that shawl on. I'm going to put on a blouse and something to protect my clothes. Today I have pre-order for 2 colorways, very variegated colorways with lots of speckles. So I have 5 slab skins here, 5 other there. I have another very variegated colorway with several bases, but I'm going to start with the slab. So let's start with the slab. Update. So here we have, I'm trying to exhaust a dye bath from a previous dyeing session. I used some fluorescent rose, fluorescent pink. That's what was remaining from the previous dye bath, and it's still not exhausted. It's very difficult to exhaust the fluorescent pink completely. And that specific colorway is not done yet. It's the first step of Champagne Rosé. So we're going to wait for that dye bath to completely exhaust itself. And I'm ready for the Answer is Love pre-orders on slab and a lot of different bases. Mohair silk, lurex, socks, some minis. That's again slab for another pre-order of Dirty Rainbows. I'm going to start applying the colors. That's the first batches of the Answer is Love. They're ready for the first heating step. It's a complex colorway with a lot of different colors, and there are several steps to dye that color, and that's why I'm offering pre-orders for that colorway. In March, 20% of that colorway, or maybe you weren't listening to me correctly. Okay, so 20% of the sales for this specific colorway, the Answer is Love, are donated to the CAMA, Collectif d'aide aux migrants d'Acher. Tell me if you like that colorway. I will leave it as a pre-order for the other months. But I'm very happy. Everything is ready to be for the first heating step. I think that specific colorways uses over
11 couleurs différentes.
10, I think 11 different pigments.
Alors, des nouvelles de celui-là.
So, what about this one? Oh, wow, the dye bath
L'eau
is
enfin
finally exhausted. So, great.
Quand l'eau est comme ça, là, je peux la...
When water is that clear, I can throw it away, but I can also reuse it to dye another colorway.
Les bains, je peux en fait
When I systematically exhaust my dye bath, I can use the same water to dye completely different colorways without having color mixes. So it's very interesting to save water and to save dye powder as well. Sometimes I have to put back some vinegar in there because the water was diluted, but it's very interesting to save water and pigments and dye powders. So that's the other colorway I wanted to dye today. That's Dirty Rainbow, which is ready for its first heating step, and that's the Answer is Love, which is ready. It's already been heated, so the water is clear. Everything was sucked up by the yarn, even the pink, so that's good.
C'est super clair, c'est magique.
And that colorway is ready for the second step. Dirty Rainbow, you can see the water is not clear at all. It needs to be heated.
Ça n'est pas encore passé par la cuisson. Ok, allez, c'est parti, on continue. Alors, ce bain. Ça, c'est,
The Answer is Love.
The Answer is Love, ça y est, je me rappelle plus.
The Answer is Love. Second step completed. It's done. I just need to rinse it, wash it and rinse it. And that batch is awaiting the speckles. There I have some, I have 3 colorways being rinsed. So that's an order, a dye to order for an X shell. I have a hard time saying it, but it's a beautiful Moon Phases sweater that was on the cover of Pom Pom Mag in 2018. And that's for the fun, because who doesn't need neon mohair in his or her life? Inside, I dyed some other colorways. That's for a customer with whom I had a video call and who requested a complementary color for her shawl. That's a colorway creation, and that's well, that's for to dye some yellow. That's a yellow colorway that I love, which starts as a light pink. So, here it's good. It's good too. Everything's done. So that's the yellow that started as a pink. That's Aperol Spritz, a beautiful colorway. And that's The Answer is Love on Slub. It's done. I'm going to put them to dry, and the dyeing session is done for today. I think I dyed approximately 40 skins. So here's the result of today's dyeing session.
Un beau bleu nuit.
That's a beautiful dark blue.
De l'ocre doré.
That's golden ochre.
Ça va faire un très beau,
for a gorgeous X-shell sweater.
Les précommandes de...
Those are the Answer is Love pre-orders. And as I counted them, I've realized I'm missing a single. And I'm not happy about it because I'm dyeing them 5 at a time. So I need to dye, in order to dye one, I need to dye 5 others. That's Aperol Spritz. I love that colorway.
Voilà. Le Dirty Rainbow en slub.
That's Dirty Rainbow on slub for pre-order, and I dyed some minis.
J'ai teint des éclats de soleil.
That's Éclat de Soleil. the yellow that started
un
out as a
single
pink
et un mohair.
on my single
Et
base
c'est
and Mohair silk.
une expérience.
And that's an experience I tried
Voilà
on
ce que ça donne quand
single.
c'est sec.
We'll see how it looks when it's dry.
Voilà. Et maintenant, je suis complètement crevée.
And now I'm
Fin de
completely
matinée, il est
exhausted.
bientôt 19 heures.
I started end of the morning and now it's almost 7 p.m. Colorways such as The Answer is Love require hard work. Semi-solid colorways are less, well, it's less difficult to dye those semi-solid colorways. So I try to mix both variegated and semi-solid on each dyeing session. They do not use the same pots as well, so I'm always trying to balance the dyeing session with variegated and semi-solid. So I hope you enjoyed spending this time with me. See you soon. I hope you liked it, and if you were curious about how I was dyeing some colors, maybe it gives you a little more, you know, knowledge and information about the dyeing process. If you have any questions, do not hesitate. I'll be happy to answer your questions. And so I wanted to show you in person the colorways I dyed last week. So I'm going to show you that afterwards. So that's Dirty Rainbow, and that was for a pre-order. So there are 4 of those. I love that colorway so much. I'm going to dye some again today, I think. Today or during the next dyeing session. Not the one today, but the one after. Because I really want to be done with pre-orders. I had quite a lot, and that's super cool. But I want to dye them first prior to, you know, dye some other things. I want to dye your yarn first. So that was for a very cool pre-order of 4 slubs plus 4 mohair. And so in the video you've just seen, it was the Champagne Rosé I was trying to dye at the beginning of the session, exhausting the yarn bath. But the yarn, well, the remaining pigments in the dye bath were too much for Champagne Rosé. So what I did instead is use the mohair skin for my Éclat de Soleil, which is a yellow that starts as a pink. But it gives it that very warm yellow color, close to, yeah, more on the still yellow, but more on the orange of the spectrum, of the color spectrum. And it's gorgeous. It's like really like a ray of light, of sun. I love that colorway so much. And so I dyed on mohair and on single, and I find that the association of Dirty Rainbow and those 3, well, those 3 together would make a wonderful Brioche Queen core. And so I decided, I put some away, and I decided it's going to be one of the color options I'm going to offer you. I don't know if I will, contrarily to what I said last podcast, I wanted to test each and every colorway option. I mean, if I came up with 20 colorway ideas, I'm not going to need 20 Brioche Queen core. I mean, I must be reasonable. But I think that would be, I mean, a stunning Brioche Queen core, very sunny and a lovely one. And maybe I will cast on a 6th with that colorway. Maybe. I don't know. So that's Éclat de Soleil, and I've decided that each time I'm sharing with you my dyeing session, everything is already in the shop. So all that well, that is in the shop. That was a pre-order, but I'm going to dye more and put them in the shop. I will let you know. Okay, what did I dye? Yes, the answer is love. That's how it looks on the skin, and that's on the slab. The rest of the bases are already, because I prepared the orders already, and everything is packed, but that's on slab. That's lovely. I dyed a new colorway, so that was an experiment. It's one of a kind. I will not be repeating it. It's called Dark Lights, and it's a very deep and saturated violet with dashes of turquoise blue and orange. It's lovely, but it was an experiment, and although it's I think it's beautiful, it's not what I had in mind, and so I will not be repeating it. Well, the recipe is written down, so unless you really love it, I will not be repeating it. Also, a customer reached out and told me she wanted me to dye a dark blue and golden kit for an X shell. And I was over the moon because I love that pattern so much, and I was honored to be asked to dye for that pattern. So these are the colorways I came up with following our request. I mean, she was very broad. She just wanted a dark blue and a golden, like on the like the original X-shell sweater. And so I came up with those two colorways. It's Long Night, and that is going to be a repeatable colorway. It's a beautiful blue, dark blue, smoky blue, I would say, with some gray undertones. And that's the molten gold colorway. So that's a golden colorway with intense shades of, well, intense tones of yellows and a little bit of, you know, mustard and browns, but light browns, just to give it this, yeah, molten gold idea look. Okay, both are no repeatable colorways, and I have two of those in the shop. Also, I dyed a bunch of Aperol Spritz. I think this is one of my favorite colorways. That's a really neon orange with a bit of pink, neon pink. It's a gorgeous orange, gorgeous. And that's it for the, as I told you, there were a lot of time-consuming and quite complex colorways that I dyed, so there were not much production in the new colorway section. Yes, there was. I'm not fair with myself, there was. But it was something I was asked for. It was not, well, something I came up with myself. Anyway, that was great. And I hope you liked it, being with me in the dye studio. What I did last week as well is I had 3 or 4 requests of customers wanted some advice to choose colors. One wanted some advice to choose colors for a Fantastic shawl by Stephen West, and again I was so happy. I love Stephen West, and I was so delighted to be putting a color scheme together for that person. So she requested that colorway together with Aperol Spritz, and she chose some other colors, very bright colors, together with some neutral grays for a shawl, and I can't wait. Oh, and what I did is I offered to to dye the colorways she chose and to create on the base of the colors she chose a sur mesure speckled colorways using speckles of all the colors she chose. So I don't know if it's something that you would like, but know that it's a possibility to complete your kit with a sur mesure. What it is? A tailored speckled colorway. I can't find the word. Bespoke. Bespoke speckled colorways, just like extravaganza, but using the colors from you chose for your project. I think I will put that as a listing in the Etsy shop, bespoke speckled colorway, so that you can choose that and tell me exactly what you want in it. So we had, I had yeah, 3 to 4 calls, video calls on Instagram to help customers choose kits for shawls and other projects, and it was a blast. I think it's really cool because it gives me a direct contact with you, and it helps me help you choose your colors, and it's been great. It is a great experience. So do not hesitate to reach out if you need a video session to choose your colors, okay? And I will be happy to help. So I just wanted to show you a bit of spinning. I did a bit of spinning last week, and I know I said I would finish my fall colored project prior to spin the fiber I dyed, but I didn't. I didn't wait. I just removed, I mean, I have 4 bobbins, so I had 1 bobbin occupied. It leaves me 3 bobbins, and I want to do a 2-ply, so that's just what I need. So if you remember, the colors were this, so that's half the braid, okay? And what I did is that I split the braid in 4, so that's half, that's going on a bobbin. Then I have that, which is a 1/4 of the braid, and I've already knitted, already spun a 1/4 of the braid. So here it is, and I can confirm that I felted the fiber, because it's not been something I enjoyed spinning at all. It's been very hard on my fingers. It's been very hard to draft. I mean, I have to draft it to the extreme, even almost separate each lock of hair to be able to spin it. And the most felted areas are creating some lumps in the yarn, but I will not throw it away. And I will spin it, okay? So the colors are lovely. So you can see only the purple bit here, but I started with so the pink orange part and all the way to the dark purple, and I'm going to spin the other 1/4, well, the other half of the bobbin, so the other 1/4 of the braid, starting with the dark purple, and I will finish with the pink and orange. So the bobbin will start with pink and orange and will end with pink and orange, and I will spin the other half The other way around, it will start with dark purple with pink and orange in the middle and end with dark purple. That way, when I will do the 2-ply, I will make sure that the colors will mix. You see, I didn't want to have a gradient. I wanted to have a marbled effect. So that's how I'm going to achieve a marbled effect. Yeah! So that's for spinning. And I spun that in 2 hours last Sunday. So that's a project that might progress more quickly than I originally thought. And that's cool. Because guess what? To make progress on spinning, you have to spin. Okay? If you're not spinning, you're not making any progress. But it's not so long in the end when you do spin. Okay? Okay, Christelle? Understood? Okay. And the last thing I wanted to share with you, because we are past the 50 minutes mark and almost, I think, 1 hour, because that's without the little the little insert of the dying session. Oh, I wanted to show you some things. I forgot, but I wanted to show you some things. And then I will wrap it up with the book I've just started. I put in a skein some colorways, in a cake some colorways that are in the shop. So that's Bonkers on extra thin fingering, and I'm going to knit a little, sample. But I wanted to show you guys how it looks in the cake, because I think it's lovely, and I want to dye something that in that color, that yellow rusty color with pink splashes. I want to dye that in a full skein without the grey. I think it's a wonderful color. So that's Bonkers on extra thin fingering, and I can't wait to knit the sample to show you guys. I hope that it will be ready by next week if I don't do another comforting cast on. That's Dreamy Ara on extra thin fingering. So I showed you that colorway already last week on the slub base. So that's on the extra thin fingering base. So that's my sock base, which is 85% extra fine merino and 15% nylon, and I love that base. It's the base I'm using for my Jimmy, and it's really a very versatile base. I love that base you can use it for virtually anything. And that's the I dyed a bunch of minis, so that's the Dirty Rainbow colorway dyed on the same base, extra thin fingering. So I caked one up because I want to knit a sample, and that's the other variegated colorway I dyed last week. That's Love is the Answer, and I'm going to knit also a little sample to show you how it knits up. Yeah. Okay, I wanted to show you that, I forgot. And last thing, I've just started a new book. It's by Ben Aronovich. It's called Lies Sleeping, and it's in I think it's book 7. I think it's book 7 in the Rivers of London series by Ben Aronovich. And I really love that series because to me it's quite a complicated reading, because the plot is quite intricate, and the English is of a high level for me, French girl. Nevertheless, I'm really enjoying it, and I love the characters. I do not always follow up on the plot. You have to pay close attention to. I often reread or re-listen some parts because I mean, you really have to pay close attention to every detail to be able to follow the plot on the book. So but I like it very much. So I'm just in the first chapters. And why am I reading this now, you might ask? Because I already have 2 books going, because but both books, At the Mountain of Madness and Murder at the Vicarage, both books are in part of read-alongs with a predetermined reading schedule. And I was done with both books. I was left with nothing to read, which in my world is not possible. So I started light sleeping just to fill in the blanks. When I'm done on both reading schedules, I need to have something to accompany me, and I chose light sleeping. So yeah, I am enjoying it very much. I think I will not die with music this afternoon, but rather with that audiobook. It's on the audiobook, this one, and it will be finished quite quickly, I think. So I'm going to wrap this episode up. I was very happy to be with you. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and do not hesitate to reach out in the comments, and to jump in on all the things I talked about in the episode. Okay, so take care, stay home, wash your hands, da 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 da, and lots of loves to you guys. Bye bye.